Alrighty again, guys, it is Dokkan time, and today we are going to be going over, Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly. So the thing is about this guy is he's a little bit more complicated to build. He can be complicated to build, but anyways, Killer Cub, this video is basically for you. You just commented on it like not even an hour ago. I want to build this for you. I know some people have probably already built the unit. That's fine, you know. If you've already built it, you've already built it. It is what it is. Now you can probably already tell on my on the screen here that I just have additional popped into there, and it's because there's several different ways to build them, and additional is going to be the primary focus, or it'll be, no matter what, it's going to be a part of the build. You want additional no matter what. Because of his defensive building up capabilities. So the thing here is that you see this giant chunk right here? This chunk right here, that's the only part of his active of his passive that you should even like believe exists. Like, this is the only part of him that exists. You got to understand that. This is the only part that exists, because the other half right here, launch additional super when facing 2 or more enemies, and launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super when there's a fused fighter category enemy, is just so minimal amount of times that that's going to both proc, or even one or the other proc, that you won't even notice. So what I'm trying to say is, go off of the assumption that this dude, he stacks defense for 4 turns, and that he has 1 built-in additional. Maybe 2, depending on the situation. So you want to build this guy like either as a tank or as a tank / damage dealer. But the issue that I have with this unit, I have one major issue with this unit, is that he doesn't know what he wants to do, and therefore you have to keep him on the rotation to keep these stacks. So if you think about it, okay, it's for 4 turns, right? Right. Hear me out. 4 turns, which means that if you float him off, he'll come back on the 4th turn. So he'll come back with his stacks if he gets to super. So let's say you have him on a Vegito lead, double Vegito heroes team. Let's go off that, right? Vegito's killing pretty much everything. I'm sorry. The dude's just doing so much damage that Broly doesn't get a chance to build up. And in all honesty, depending on the fight you're going into, he doesn't get the chance to build up, and that's the issue. He doesn't have good start-of-turn defense. You want to get that defense built up. You want to get that additional in there every chance that you get. And but the thing is like, he hits like a wet paper napkin, because he only does supreme damage. Like, he doesn't really do that hard of damage. Like, I'm going to be honest with you here. This tech Super Saiyan 4 Broly does better damage, and it's because after he easy A's, he greatly raises his attack, and he's got launch additional super here, launch additional super here, then he's got built up extra attack and defense every time he supers. I mean, and he just does so much more damage. He can do so much more damage than his counterpart can. So it's really weird. Like, I feel like I know how they wanted to build this guy. They wanted this guy to be a tank, and then they wanted you to put him next to this guy that just does crazy amounts of damage in the 2nd slot. But this guy at no point in time, except for maybe turn, like, I don't know, 5? Like, turn 5, maybe he can tank in slot 1 at start a turn without raising his defense back up. Because, I mean, let's go take a look at the boy Halvard's calculations. Appreciate you, dude. So if we go all the way up here, his start of turn defense is crap. It's 200. I mean, ignore the fuse fighter and 2 versus enemies. If we have 3 stack effects, his start of turn defense will be 364. If you got a support on the rotation at the time, it'll be 400k. Now, we all know 400k ain't enough. It's not enough. 3 super attack effects is implying that you supered this one turn. Like, let's say that you double supered on the last turn, and then the turn of, you're supering only 1 time. mean, that's pretty much what the equivalent is. Like, the equivalent is you got the triple super. You got the triple super one turn with 3 stacks. That's just not going to happen. It's just not going to... You're not going to get a triple super. If you do get a triple super, it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. Is it likely, though? Yeah, if you go like 25 additional, 30 additional, yeah, sure, you can pull it off. But you're not going to do any damage. You're just not going to do any damage. So you got to really ask yourself, how do you want to run Broly? Do you want him as an off... Do you want him on third slot, cycling out constantly, just getting random additionals in, and just being a kind of like a side tank? The thing is like, if he doesn't get additionals, he's going to get you killed. He's going to get you killed. I can give you a promise on that one. He's going to get you killed. Because his super attack effect will only last, like, let's say you put him on the third slot. When he comes back around, he's only going to have that one stack. So if you magically triple super every single time that he appears, and you put him on the third slot, he's only going to have that 360k defense if he gets AoE. Now, mind you, if he even supers once or double supers, obviously, then he'll be up to like 800, 900k. But let's say he doesn't. Let's say he doesn't double, triple super. Well, let's say he doesn't double, triple super. Then you're well below the 360k range. Let's say you only do like 1 super on the last turn because RNG just screwed you. Then you're sitting at like post super, you're like 500k defense. You only super once again, and Fusion Zamasu super attacks you, and you just took over 800k damage because he hits you for 1.5 million super. I mean, that's the issue there. Is like, he is defensively good enough so long as he's not getting AoE'd. That's the issue. Is like, you're not going to reliably keep the stacks up. The stacks are going to be all over the place. They're going to be up and down. But at the end of the day, you want him to additional to survive defensively. So when it comes down to his build, my suggestion is that you go full additional no matter what, and you choose to either make him a tank and give him dodge, or you choose to go full additional and then give him crit as well to actually see some damage from those additional super attacks. Personally, I'm going with crit and additional because I'm just going to take this guy into events that he's just going to massacre. He's going to launch super attack when he's facing 2 or more enemies. He's going to have his standard attack, he's going to have his hidden potential, he's going to have the 50% chance, and he's going to have the guaranteed additional, he's going to quadruple super and wipe the field. That's what I'm going to take him into. That's what I'm going to try and take him into. And I'm going to take him into events that I know he can, like, destroy. I'm not taking this guy into the hardest content in the game. I don't expect him to perform super duper well in the hardest content in the game, because if RNG screws me, then I'm dead because he couldn't get enough stacks off. I'm sorry if this whole video has sounded very pessimistic against Broly, but his performance completely and utterly is reliant on RNG. It's just, I don't know. If they had given him even 50% chance to guard, if they had given him guard, if there was like 3 other Dragon Ball heroes or time travelers on the field, if anything else, man, I mean, it's just like his damage is very low, so I want to see some crits going off. Yeah, it really depends on how you want to build him. Play around a little bit before you give him the hidden potential nodes, you know? Go into some of the red zone fights in the game, see how he performs, use some infinite equip items, you know, that you can take off and replace at any time. You know, try to play around with it a little bit, see how you like his damage, see how many times he additional supers naturally. If he's not additionaling enough for you, you know, then yeah, give him more additional. If he's not doing the damage you want him to do, give him crit. And then really decide, do you want to build him for a damage dealer that can tank if he actually gets his additionals off? Or build him as a rotating off tank, and just go for additional and dodge. Those are my suggestions. It's really hard to tell you how to build this guy, because based on your build, this guy could perform completely different. He can just perform so vastly different. It's wild how differently he can perform based on his build. It's really wild. I'm not even gonna lie. It's really wild. I suspect that the majority of people are probably gonna build him like this: additional and dodge. That's what I assume most people are gonna build him as. Personally, I'll deal with the 5 dodge, and I'm gonna want to see some numbers from this guy and some additionals. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you out. Have a good day and a good night.